2021 is definitely the year of a hot Metz, so I wanted to close it out by customizing this small bathroom vanity in my trailer and then make 2022 the year of makeovers. If you're new here, this is episode 6 of this bathroom renovation. All the other makeovers will not be this long, but I'm showing you how a first timer is going about everything from framing it, subflooring, plumbing, and even adding a vent. I'm gonna think of a way I'm moving this. I hate that I drilled a hole in the floor, but whatever. I'm gonna just remove this. And also I'm so tired. Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh my God. Hello? I'm gonna put all my weight on that. There we go. Okay. I've been really trying to avoid doing that, but I'm gonna just hire, I'm not gonna hire a plumber, I'm gonna FaceTime and figure it out with Jess, but I'm gonna move that so I can have a better focus on this custom building our vanity. Wow, I look like a mess today. It's Christmas Eve, give me a break. Where you do not see pink, like in the middle, that is where a light fixture that I passion project on the side welding with Mr. Brett is going to be installed. I am making grooves so it has a nice path to settle into because I want it to sink into the wall, but to make it look like it's going into the wall when I tile up against it. Oh my God, this is the exciting part. Okay, so now the light fixture is attached to it. And this is short because I'm putting a molding. And that's gonna go. Oh my God, it's finally coming together. I can't believe it. Rach, you did it. It looks like nothing right now. But I had to figure this guy out. Yes. Oh my God. I wired it off screen. Black to black, which is hot. White to white, which is neutral. Copper is gonna be your ground. So when I turn this back on, this black one down here, since I split it to light up the vanity mirror, this wire should be hot. And if it's not, we have an issue. Just like plumbing, electrical is very much so like a puzzle. This switch is hot, which is great. This switch is split to control the ceiling and to control the vanity, so you can turn on either one. So now, if that's hot, that means this should be hot. Yes. That's amazing. Okay, cool. So then I could put a light bulb in that and it should turn on. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Yeah, this is a really big deal. Also, the window's leaking. Whoever commented that, you're right. So I need to figure that out just a little bit. But we're gonna focus on this. So the power is off. Let's double check. You always wanna have a voltage tester. Off, off. I just double check all my hot wires. All right, so I'm gonna pull this guy through because he's gonna go down to this hole. That's it. All my hard work right there, but it'll make sense. Please make sense. I added some adhesive to the little nooks so I can secure this in there and it won't move. To make sure this is held in place, I'm just gonna put a 2x3 and I'm gonna go into the supports. So that way I know this is extra secured. It's not going anywhere. While that adhesive was drying, I moved on to something that intimidated me, which was creating a custom colored concrete sink. Before I cut down for the actual mold, I actually cut a piece of paper to the size of the sink that I wanted, and it's gonna look like a basic sink, but the measurements are off just a little bit. What I started with before making the exterior of the mold with the MDF was the interior, and that is the slope of the sink. So I grabbed some foam and I started cutting it down to size of the interior of where you would be washing your hands. That is what this foam is going to be. I have never done anything like this, and the process was actually fairly easy. You just take the foam and you layer in glue as deep as you need. I went in with my multi-tool after that dried and started to create the slope of where the water would run down into the drain. It can't just be a flat sink. It needs some form of a slope. You can see the paper cutout that I did previous to even cutting this foam. I laid it on top and started to outline where the drain was and make a hole for the drain because you will need to put something in there when you pour to have a hole for the drain at the end of it. The foam is too porous to pour concrete onto, so after I liked the shape of everything, I started covering it in joint compound, which I then sanded down once it was dry to make it nice and smooth, and then kind of continued the process, layering it on, sanding it down after it dried until I was nice and happy. When I had the interiors mold where I liked it, that's when I used that to create the exterior with the melamine. So I just placed that on top, started to cut around 3 different pieces, not 4 because of that curve. If you are new to concrete molds, I've done a few here on my channel, but Ben Ueda really is the master. Let me break it down for you real quick. I'm using melamine. I'm going in with some finishing paste wax and rubbing that all over. I am putting it together with an impact driver and the appropriate length screws. You'll see that the front, I used a piece of steel just to keep it nice and rounded. I didn't want to, I want to work smarter, not harder. And once everything is assembled, I'm going to caulk everything so nothing seeps through. And a little tip for you if you don't know, you can pick up a fondant tool. This is used for cake making, and you can use that. It's a nice way to round over the edges, but also easy to peel the excess of the caulk the next day once it dries. The next morning, I went in and added something that I found was a perfect size for the drain and plugged that up because you do not want the concrete or whatever you're pouring in to go into that hole. We need that to remain open. So we're gonna let that dry before we coat it with epoxy. Ooh, she's real shining like. Okay, cool. So this, we're pouring over this. That's why we use the Maker Epoxy by Just Crow to coat on top of it. There's these bubbles that we need to get off, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. I changed my mind and decided when I had everything disassembled with the sink to create the counter that it will be sitting on. If you guys don't remember, I did a vanity makeover here in the trailer earlier this year, and I had this 3-ply, it's 3/4 inch pieces of plywood glued together as the countertop for the vanity. I took that and cut that down to size. Does anybody want to fight me right now? Because I want to fight myself. Everything's fine. This is how we live and learn. This is why the series is going so long. I need to, fun fact, rip this hardy backer board off because I don't need it. I'm not going to be tiling over here. Am I? No, I'm not tiling over here. I've decided to swap around a couple of ideas, and I'm gonna rip this hardy backer board off because I don't need it. I'm just gonna do a different accent to here. I wish I could keep it. It sucks, but this is how we learn. And 3, 2, 1. I'm doing something a little bit crazy, wacky, if you will, maybe a little bit backwards, and you guys will give me better feedback down below, but I am repurposing some heavy-duty braces that I had on hand, and I'm cutting them down to size with my angle grinder and spraying what you may see underneath the countertop gold that's going to be exposed. I had to take the hardy backer board off because I wanted to just chisel out some of the studs and lay those braces in so I can then cover it with drywall. It's crazy. As you can see, I added those braces right onto the studs, and before I installed the counter, I realized I wanted to route out or take out a section of the counter so the sink kind of sets into it. So I used my router to create an initial guide and then went in like a madwoman with a chisel. This is a very exciting episode that you will see in the future, but it's a trailer renovation for a friend that I will be doing all in one episode for you, so hold on to your panties there. But let me tell you about today's sponsor, who we all know and love, Audible. Now, what is Audible? Well, they are the leading provider of spoken word entertainment all in one place. You can literally find the perfect title for whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, and however you're feeling. And for me lately, that has been on my sobriety journey kick. So, a book that I recently picked up via Audible is Quit Like a Woman by Holly Whittaker. It is about the radical choice to not drink in a culture obsessed with alcohol, and that is just because I am on my sobriety journey. But I'm excited to dive into it during the episode that you will see eventually of this trailer renovation that's behind me during me talking on screen. Personally, I prefer audiobooks over physical books, and with Audible, I get so much more than that because I can get stand-up comedy, I can get theater performances, I can get podcasts, guided wellness meditations, which I am all about lately. With an Audible membership, you can download titles and listen offline anytime, anywhere. The Audible app is free and can be installed on all smartphones and tablets. You can listen across devices without losing your spot as well.
But here's the best part. You'll also get access to Audible's streaming library, the Plus catalog.
The new Plus catalog makes Audible membership so much more valuable and gives all members a chance to listen to and discover new favorite and new formats like the exclusive Words and Music series or a podcast that you've never considered before.
Right now, for a limited time only, you can get 60% off of your first 3 months, which is $5.95 per month. Give yourself and the ones that you love the most the gift of listening
by visiting audible.com/Metz or text Metz to 500-500. Thank you so much, Audible, for sponsoring today's episode. Let's dive right back in. I moved forward with drywalling and then it just hit me. I wanted to add something funky to the left-hand side. So I started cutting down some of that mother of pearl terrazzo cement tile from Lily Cement Tiles, and I started to add it to the left-hand side where the wall was exposed to create an accent piece to the in-wall storage that I will be DIYing. You know, I'm not sure why my brain worked like this, but I tiled and then I added a piece of drywall on top of it and decided to cut as close as I could to the 2x4 framing after I installed the drywall on top to then create the openings for the shelving.
It is crazy to me that it takes 2 months to get to this point and then less than 8 hours to get to it looking like something.
Okay, I'm definitely hiring drywallers and skim coaters and all the things doing with walls for my actual house, but I'm gonna tough it out for the rest of the trailer. Skim coating is tedious.
And now if you could remember too from the last episode, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'll ever use Quickset 5 or Quickset 20 like Jess does. Well, now that's what we're doing. We're using Quickset 5. So this is the stuff that sets the fastest, and I don't know if I'm gonna regret this. I hope I don't, but you live and learn. So I'm just trying to get this done, not fast, but like kind of.
Just because I'm not a fan of drywalling doesn't mean I'm not going to perfect it by the end of this trailer renovation and be able to do it anywhere and anytime that I please. But I do want to say, like, it is not fun, and I can completely see why people hire it all the time.
That's good for first round. Oh God, that was nerve-wracking.
Now that I know that I love how this is going, I decided to actually pour the sink. But before I did, I had another crazy idea. What if we put some geodes in the sink? So I used some hot glue to create a divot for when we pour the concrete and demold to be able to fill it with some crystals.
I'm using just self-leveling concrete for the sink. But we're gonna get risky and pour some color in there.
The color that I'm going for isn't necessarily terracotta. I really want this weird, like, corroded, deep rust color. That's why I stuck with a gray base versus ordering a white concrete. I spent some time with my Sawzall with no blade on it and vibrating the bubbles out of it, and once that was all good and dandy, I just leveled it right there where it sat to make sure that once it dried, the sink was actually obviously level. A little breakdown about how I work. So while the sink was being poured, there was a skim coat drying, and now that it is dried all the way while we poured the sink, we are back inside, standing down and prepping the wall for another skim coat. You gotta work smarter, not harder, people, when you're a one-woman show. I was just about to use these and show you the sink hardware, but this is actually a tool base to a drill I do not have. So I need to go to Home Depot. I don't know why I thought that I had it for this, but this drills through tile nice and clean, which is, we need this hole saw for an installation. So I would be drilling a hole right there, but I need to, again, go to Home Depot and pick up this piece. Since I can't do that, I'll come up with a little DIY. But I wanted to be able to have a little bit more counter space, because if I didn't, then the sink would have been super small, you know? It would have been like that small. But how good does that look with the terrazzo behind it? Crazy, right? What a difference. And then, in between just a couple of the pieces of tile, I've done this DIY before. These are just 2 pocket holes that I drill where you can't see. I cut the piece of wood down to size, finish it on all sides, and then I'm going to stick it into place. And it's going to be storage. And then this I'm just going to shove into place for right now so you guys can see it, because it really is gonna look so pretty. That is not installed, clearly. Okay, let's install the mirror.
do something right.
The mirror is an awesome find on Amazon. I linked it down below for you. I added some LED strip lighting that you use for cabinets on the back, the hardwired version, and then the electrical that we were dealing with in the very beginning of the episode is what I am hardwiring it to now.
Why is it purple? What's happening? Oh my God, it is turning different colors. It's making noises that it definitely, I don't think should be, but it's officially red. I hope there's nothing in there burning, but this is red and I don't know how to make it not red. Why is it red? Oh, we're gonna deal with the red lights another day. This has taken 3 weeks, this wall. 3 weeks.
I clearly bought yellow sunglasses and I'm very excited about them. And I also have been just collecting decor for this bathroom makeover. I have been also thrifting different items and commandeering some toiletries from some hotels I've been staying at that I love. And I started to put that into place so you guys can start to catch the vibe. If you grew up like me with a father like I have, there was always unfinished renovations and makeovers, maybe a piece of tile that was missing for 20 years. So having this vanity kind of at a standstill while I work on the remainder of the renovations has me giggling and a little bit nostalgic. Like, oh, that's so funny. And now I kind of get why my dad had these projects kind of left undone here and there because it's a lot for one person. Not being someone that's going to school for design or architecture and just being a woman that is on a mission to figure out herself, her home, and make this corner of the world my own is something that I hope that inspires you guys as well with your space and the tools that you have available right in front of you. All you gotta do is just start. I would have never thought I would be able to build a room from the ground up, but look at us go now.
Let's chat. Let's just chat for 2 seconds before we get into the reveal. 2 seconds. I needed to see something before I headed into the new year and lost my mind completely. So you're gonna see rough drywall. You're gonna see caulk that is raw because, oh God, because there's no paint on it. And you're also going to see, you know, just scratches and dings on the primed drywall that I did previously. But all that is to say, I just wanted to give you guys a sense of my styling and where this was going. And it's just nice to know that the design that I want, I like. So then I can move forward with the reveal and do all the fine details that aren't done here in the reveal for you. I just needed to make sure this was working for me. Holy jolly. The sink will come out a little bit right there and be that pop of orange. That seems crazy now. And then the brass goes all the way down and I'll hang the towels below. So it kind of hides the piping. And then we'll do some artwork right there. But I mean, can you guys finally see it? Oh, I need that outlet is killing me. I mean, that's just so pretty. I'm so excited to do something right there. Okay, let's check on the sink. It matches my sweats. So it's pretty cool. It seems like it's coming out to be, so far, a rust color. And we'll see. So I'm excited to reveal this and show you the geodes and the crystals that I'm laying within. This thing is kicking my ass.
If you guys stuck around for the outro, I just wanted to say thank you. I know I took a step back from YouTube this year and I see all my numbers are down and subscribers are leaving left, right, front, and center. And it just gives me more fire to come back with a vengeance in 2022. So I will see you next year with a actual makeover.